So we're going to be looking at the Excel for the water project. Pretty much what's going on is we have this trapezoidal basin, and we want to develop a tool that's going to allow us to calculate very quickly what's happening. And so if I go into it, right, I can see that I've got some basic headings, which is pretty much my overall width. And if I modify this, it will change my overall length. So that's just doubling it up, which is convenient. I can change my slope if I need to. I can change my depth increment if I need to. All right, set those back both. I've gone through and I've calculated what my volume is through the rainwater. I've determined if I want, I can make a mark how deep I'm going to dig. Right, if it's like my backhoe can only go this deep, I can mark that right there. I can then have my total acres and then my clean out, which is calculated there for reference if I need it. What's going on down in the Excel table is these are just my depths, which when I modify them, they change. And so I can get either high resolution or low resolution dependent on what my value is right there. I'll put it back to 1. My width increments, so I've got 75 and 150, which are just pulled from these values. If I change them again, they'll change. But what's nice is that the way these step down is it's actually calculating out the what is at 1 foot, right? And so if I'm taking a 2 foot by 1 foot slope off of each side, I've got 2 feet on this side, 2 feet on this side, and so my 80 feet goes down to 75. Similarly with my 160 to 156, I can then calculate my area from that. So in other words, what's my flat surface right there? I can convert it to acres, and then I've got to be able to calculate the average between the increments. So for example here, if I look at this, right, what I've got is I've got these sloped sides, and it makes it a little bit hard mathematically to work for us. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just say, hey, let's simplify it down to where we just take the middle point of one of these, right? Say, hey, that's good to go, which is what we're doing here. We're taking the average between these two values, right? And we're multiplying it against what our increment is, right? And so our depth increment. And that says this is how much our storage is we're going to get in each step. So if we go down another step, we're adding this much storage and so forth. We then are accumulating those out. So in other words, we're adding this value to that value to that value to that value, and it's coming out with my total volume as far as storage. Right, and so what I've got to do as a user of this is I've just got to sit there and think, all right, my total storage is this. I'm going to modify the numbers until it works with my backhoe. It doesn't get too big with the values here, and my value is above 2.14. And so 2.12, sorry. And so I know that I'm going to be digging roughly about 12 feet here. So I'm in good shape if need be there. What I've done on this other side is I've sort of calculated it for a plot later on if I need to, how much storage is being added to it as we go down. So in other words, like this is how much is at the bottom level, this is how much is the next level, whereas this is doing the inverse. All right, so how I go about making this is a little bit complex, and we'd like the kids to go through this process of trying to develop it just because there is an aspect that Excel is very useful.